Well, good morning, everybody. Hi. It's so good to see you all. Welcome on this beautiful Friday morning. I'm so glad you're spending it with us at ICAT in the Cube and online. My name is Phyllis Newbill. I am the Associate Director for Educational Networks at the Center for Educational Networks and Impacts here at ICAT. And so this morning we got a couple of announcements and then we're going to get right started. I can't wait. I'm just so excited to be moving with you all. So, a couple of announcements to get us started. The student seed grants that we've been talking about for a few weeks are out and they are ready. They're due October 8th. So if you've got students who are working across a couple of colleges who have some great idea, get those applications in. Also, the Virginia Tech Science Festival 2021 is coming November 6th. You all know that there's a virus going around, so there's a few changes to it so that you can check it all out on the website, but a quick version is that we will have field trips to campus. So schools will be coming to campus. There'll be small expos with those field trips. There'll be lab tours. And there will also be online meetups, much like we did last year. So if you've got an idea for one of those, we would love to hear from you. The exhibitor application is open now. On November 6th, we will have a small public event, much like this Playdate. So on the day of November 6th, from 10 to 4, there will be presentations on the hour in this space. And they'll be kind of the stellar ones from the previous parts of the festival. So we'll live stream those out to the world. And you can come here as well. We'll have that ticketed so that we can manage our audience sizes. And then in the evening of November 6th.
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
There is a virus going around.
There is a virus.
We're thinking about it.
We are hopeful that in the evening of November 6th, we will have some version of the Nutshell Games. So we'll figure that out. And you all are you're going to talk more about Nutshell Games, or should I mention that now?
I think we should hold.
Okay. All right. So if you're a school or a learning group and you'd like to come to this festival, please let us know. That will be up on the website shortly as well. And that is it. If you have questions and you're watching us online, I hope that you will put your questions in using the questions Google form. We'll get those right here and I'll ask them. So please put those in as you have questions or responses, and you all may ask them to do things with that form. So find that link now. If you're in the room, of course, you can just raise your hand. And please know that we have a 360 camera, so you're on camera right now and live stream to the world. So with that, I will pass the mic over, or you have your own mic. I will turn it over to Miss Carrie Kroehler, who has been working with us for a long time at CENI on amazing projects that really bring science communication to the forefront. The Center for Communicating Science has been in existence for 5 years now, and their work to communicate science and to make it accessible and to teach our grad students and all of our students at Virginia Tech how to do that well, we're just really grateful to have them. But I'm going to stop talking about them because they have more to say than I do. So send in your questions, and I'll turn it over to Carrie Kroehler.
Thank you, Phyllis. It's so great for us to be here. We've been doing this project for a couple years, I think. As Phyllis said, I'm Carrie Kroehler, Associate Director of the Center for Communicating Science. And with me, you'll see a lot of other women, and that's not a coincidence. You'll find out more about why it is all women in front of you. And I want to introduce the rest of my team. I have Kantu with me. She's a PhD student in the Department of Geosciences, a paleontologist studying anatomy. I have Abby Lewis. She's in the Department of Biological Sciences, and she wants to be able to forecast water quality. Is that enough about you? Yeah. I have Vanessa Diaz, or Dr. Vanessa Diaz, as her 6-year-old daughter refers to her. You'll hear more about that. She is from the Department of Psychology and the co-director of the iLeap lab. That stands for language, environment, attention, and parenting. Okay, my brain is working pretty well this morning. Great, I have Jenny Apayakubi. And she is in the Department of Electrical Engineering, and she is keeping our power systems safe. She studies cybersecurity in power systems. And then Amber Wendler, also in the Department of Biological Sciences, and she's been in Puerto Rico for 5 months. She studies bird behavior. So what do all these people have in common? You'll find out. But I also need to thank some of the people who aren't here. We had more people on our project team, including Lori Evans, the head kindergarten teacher at Eastern Elementary Middle School in Giles County. We had Patty Ron, the director of the Center for Communicating Science, and we had Christina Martin, the STEM coordinator for the Giles County Public Schools. We also had more graduate student researchers who might be out there watching us, so we should all wave at them in case they are. We hope they are. They couldn't be here. So in addition to the people you see standing in front of you, we had Ali Castaneda, Udaya Sridatla, Ellen Garcia, Sarah Katibzada, Caitlin Reed, and Mia Tankersley. And then we always need to thank the people who provided financial and human resources to the project. And I'm going to hand the clicker, which seems to be working really well now, or you want me to click for you? I'm going to hand things over to Con, and I will click.
All right. So what do you think of when I say picture a scientist? Is it something like this? Well, someday my hair does look like that. In 2017, a paper published in Science by Bian and colleagues showed that gender stereotype showed up around the end of kindergarten. Well, how do we even test for that? They showed a panel of photos to children and found that almost all 6-year-old girls were more likely to choose men than women when they were told to point to a really, really smart person. When presented with opportunities for activities, the girls were less likely to choose activity that was labeled as really, really smart compared to the boys in their study. Girls Launch was founded or started in 2017 by a graduate student in my department, actually. Caitlin Kroehler saw these published findings and was actually kind of horrified. I'm also horrified by it. And she was very motivated to bring these opportunities, showing women researchers into kindergarten classroom, and this is how the project got started.
Caitlin had taken the Communicating Science graduate course and went to the Center for Communicating Science for support in starting a project. Together, they contacted Christina Martin, the STEM coordinator for the Giles County School District, about bringing women researchers to the school. Through a chance encounter at a campus event, Carrie mentioned the project to Vanessa, who just happens to be a child developmental psychologist, and she got involved in the project to add a research component. Would these visits affect the formation of gender stereotypes? For the first few years, women graduate students and occasionally faculty and undergraduates provided monthly visits to 3 kindergarten classrooms at Eastern Elementary Middle School in Giles County, a Title I school about 25 minutes west of Blacksburg.
Hi. So for the research component, I was interested both in what do children think, as well as where the visits having an effect. So for that, so in terms of that, we were wondering, when we ask children to draw a scientist, do they automatically draw a male scientist in the lab with some beakers around, as you see here? Or instead, do they draw a female scientist, perhaps in the forest, also with beakers, right? Because they need to have beakers around. But we asked this question to the children in the schools in a systematic way. What we found is that indeed, by kindergarten, and here's a poster that we presented on these findings, but what you see in the graph in the middle, in the first 2 bars, is that in the first two bars, in kindergarten, we see that both boys and girls had a preference for sciences of their own gender, plus some other creatures in green. But then what you see is that by the middle school, right, so that was the other group that we've been visiting, you see that boys are drawing males 90% of the time. This was very shocking to us. You know, the only extra drawings were of the other category. But with the girls in middle school, you see that they are drawing even numbers of males and females. So that's one side of the project, right? What is it that children think? And then the other side is where the visit's having an effect. Unfortunately, because of COVID, I don't have data with drawings, but we were able to collect some data, and this is from another poster that we presented. Where the visit's having an effect. So this is a scientist in the visits. And what we found is that girls who received the science visits had more positive stereotypes about women. So we gave them questions like the questions that you saw at the beginning with the faces. And also that the ones who received the science visits were more likely to say that they wanted to do science, which was very exciting to us, compared to the boys and to girls who did not receive the visits. So that's some of what we have found so far with the project.
Okay, so the project is going well, right? But then the pandemic struck. So nobody was able to visit the schools. And even at some point, the students themselves were not going to school. And so you have a sort of a problem here. And what Vanessa and Carrie did was to apply and receive a sort of rapid response grant from ICAT. And they spent the resources from that supporting 10 women graduate students to come up with videos that could in some way or some form make up for these in-person classroom visits. And so Abby, Can, Amber and I were in that group of students. So that is how we are related. So over the course of the summer, we met a number of times over Zoom, of course. And I remember that the first session was with Laurie Evans and with Christina Martin. And as Carrie already said, Christina is the STEM coordinator. And Laurie is the head kindergarten teacher at the school. So they were really helpful, and they shared some great tips about how to communicate to the KG kids or kindergarten kids. But then after that first session, we spent the rest of the time with Patty and with Carrie, and they sort of helped us, I won't say to connect with our 5-year-old selves, and of course to come up with what the videos were going to be about. And so by the end of the summer, we all had come up with these short, crisp, kindergarten-friendly videos about our research, right?
So in addition to those videos, we also created activity guides to accompany our videos. And there was a Center for Communicating Science intern that actually translated these activity guides into Spanish to make them more accessible. And so those guides and videos are available on the Center for Communicating Science YouTube page. So you can check those out later if you're curious, and share them with some kindergartners you may have in your life. Also, the Center for Educational Networks and Impacts is working on tagging these videos with Virginia Standards of Learning codes. So that will make it easier for teachers to actually incorporate these videos and activity guides into their lesson plans. So Virginia Tech has a public schools liaison to help with outreach to school kids. And the Floyd County School liaison, Kim Keith, actually created a computer-coded lesson about hand washing that you see on the screen there. And it actually incorporates one of the videos from this project, which is pretty cool. And she has posted the lesson plan and videos on the Go Open Virginia, which is a statewide curriculum and educational resources repository. So a really great resource, making these accessible to a greater amount of people.
We had the opportunity through ICAT to be part of their Open at the Source exhibit last April. And for that, we made a 2-minute compilation of all 10 of the videos that we hope conveys the spirit of all of the videos. So we're going to play that 2-minute video for you right now. We hope. Yes, maybe? Are we in your way?
A scientist is someone who is curious about the way things work, and they spend their time looking for answers.
My name's Ellen, and I'm a scientist.
I'm a scientist. I'm a special kind of scientist called a clinical psychologist.
And I'm a scientist at Virginia Tech. I study biology, or things that are alive.
My name is Caitlin. I'm a scientist who studies what makes us sick and how to keep our bodies healthy.
Hello all, my name is Kantu and I study paleontology, which is the study of fossils.
I am a scientist who studies birds.
My name is Abby, and I'm a scientist and a student from Virginia Tech.
Hello future scientists, so are you ready to explore the world of science with me?
I am a veterinarian and a scientist, and you can be both, too.
All good science starts with a question.
For some fun science of your own, see if you can pay extra attention to the things that you see, smell, taste, hear, and touch for the rest of the day.
I love splashing in puddles and getting my hands dirty in the mud.
Every day is full of surprises. It's like getting birthday presents every single day.
Make sure that you are never afraid to ask questions and that you stay curious about the world.
You can be a scientist too.
I hope you keep asking wonderful questions.
I know you're excited to be a scientist too.
Science is for everybody, like you and like me, and it can be a lot of fun.
Get out there, start exploring, and you too can be a scientist.
And I look forward to seeing all the science that you do in the future.
All right, so unfortunately, we're still not able to be back in the classrooms, either with the visits or with the research project. And so through a collaboration incubator between science and the arts put together by the Center for Communicating Science, I paired up with artists Charles Nichols, Zach Duer, who is here with us, Erica Meitner, and Ariana Wyatt. And we have started a collaboration in which we will do artistic renditions of the children's reactions to the videos. So that is currently ongoing, but so far we have shown the videos to children. So here's a picture of that. And then we asked them for some drawings. We asked them questions. We recorded their answers. Here's a picture of me with the children as they draw, and what you see at the bottom is a microphone where we record what they were saying, and then from that we will do some magic. So stay tuned for that.
Great. Well, we promised in the advertisement that we were going to help you also learn to explain your work to a 5-year-old. And so we're going to invite you to play with us. We're going to use some of the exercises that we used with the 10 graduate students at the very beginning of their process. And the first thing we want to do is ask people to think about what brings you joy in your research. Because that's the first question we asked all of you. At least right after Lori Evans told us that kindergarten children might not know the meaning of the word shed, S-H-E-D, we kind of panicked and said, okay, let's go way back to the beginning. What brings you joy in your work? So we're going to ask everyone to stand up and find a partner, and we're going to come out and do this with you. And if you're watching online, if you have somebody to talk to, go ahead and talk to that person. But you're also welcome to use the question feature that Phyllis mentioned and send us something that says, what brings you joy in your work? So hop up. This is a play date. We're going to play. And find a partner, any partner. You guys can come out and play too. And introduce yourselves.
I think we prepared now.
All right, it sounds like everyone has a lot that brings them joy in their lives. And we had one other exercise planned, but it's 9:26 already, and we want to leave time in case anybody has any questions about the project. So I guess we have 4 minutes to take questions about the project. Do you all want to come back up in case people have questions for you?
So just
I'll tell you about the other exercise so you can try it later on your own, but preferably with a partner. And that is to actually try to explain what you do as if you're talking to a 5-year-old, and have the person you're talking to really play the role of a 5-year-old and say things like, why?
Yeah.
And how? And what does shed mean? And things like that. So any questions? Thank you so much for playing our short game there with us.
And a housekeeping thing, if you have a question, just raise your hand and I'll walk over to you with the mic. Even if you can speak really loudly, it won't go out on the YouTube without the mic, and I'll hold it for you. What questions do you have? We do have a comment online that says, your project is amazing. We love how the videos are showing up in other places. Any ideas of how we could grow this even more and letting more people across the country know what we're doing?
Well, the videos are going to be available through STEAM Day and the Science Festival.
That's a great idea.
That's a wonderful way. Thank you for that. Yeah. Any other thoughts?
No, but so this is a great question because just going from the visits to the videos was a big step. Which is finding those good things in the pandemic, right? That before these were only visits, and now we were forced to make that into this even better thing. Now, one thing I'm thinking that I would love to do would be to translate them, right? And we could get this internationally. That I think that would be a great next step with the great thing that we already have. Yeah.
Yeah, I did forget to mention that the activity guides are available in Spanish. The videos are also captioned in Spanish. So we do have one language.
All right, good.
We've got English and Spanish going.
What other questions? Let's see some.
Hi, my name's Chelsea. So for those of you that were able to interact with the children, what did you learn from the children?
I think Con might be the only person up here who's actually gone in person, because the others who were involved in that part of the project. Well, and Mia, you saw Mia, the clinical psychologist, she also made a school visit.
So when we went to the kindergarten classroom, we ended up doing like small groups where there were another paleontologist with me. We rotated through the groups, and I think the experience was kind of enlightening because each group of students has a different dynamic that you get to play with, or you get to interact with them, you explain a different way, they ask completely wildly different questions. It's out of the ballpark question, and I'm like, oh, what? But it's so enjoyable because you see the joy in their face, and they're so excited to do all the hands-on things. They're so excited to learn just random little facts that you have, and you're just like into anything that you give them. So I thought the experience was just a wonderful way to explain my science in so many different ways in such a short little time. A really great experience for sure.
I've been able to go along a couple of times, and once the kids had gotten to know that these visits were happening, they do really look forward to it and get excited. And so one day when I got to go along, the kids jumped up and they said, "Is it scientists? Are you science?" and I think on Caitlin's very first visit, she had a little girl come up to her at the end and wrap her arms around her legs and say, "I want to be you when I grow up." And that is exactly what we're hoping for. So that was really wonderful.
That is delightful. Thank you, Carrie. And I'll say that when I shared what brought me joy, it's when the kids say, "I want to do that when I grow up," and when they have that light in their eyes, and it's just beautiful. We are at 9:30. I want to thank you all so much for your work and your commitment to this, and just the heart and soul that you put into this. It is beautiful and important work that you're doing, and I'm so glad for it. You all mentioned the liaisons, the school liaison. Kim Keith is one of our several liaisons. So at CENI, the Center for Educational Networks and Impacts, we've got a liaison with 3 different school systems plus the Science Museum of Western Virginia in Roanoke. So those school systems are Montgomery County, Radford City, and Floyd County. And they're here every Thursday. So if you'd like to have a chat with a person from a school who can give you frontline advice, know that those liaisons are here, and we're happy to help introduce you to those and help you find a way to make whatever you're working on really be appropriate for school children. Any other last minute questions? With that, we will wrap up, and I thank you all for being here today, and I hope the rest of your Friday is amazing and you have a great weekend too. We'll see you next week.